What if that miracle supplement sitting in your cabinet right now, the one with 50,000 five-star reviews, the one your favorite influencer swears by, the one that's supposed to melt your stress away, was slowly rewiring your brain in ways nobody warned you about? Every day, millions of people pop ashwagandha like it's a multivitamin. They take it for anxiety, for sleep, for muscle gain, for focus. But here's what most people don't realize. This ancient herb has a dark side that modern marketing conveniently leaves on the cutting room floor. And if you're taking it daily or thinking about starting, you need to hear this before you swallow another capsule. I'm Dr. Leonid Kim. Today, I'm going to walk you through 6 critical insights about ashwagandha that almost nobody talks about. We're going to look at what it actually does inside your body, the biological mechanisms most people misunderstand, the hidden risks that can creep up silently, and the specific mistakes that turn a potentially helpful herb into a genuine health hazard. This isn't about bashing natural medicine. This is about respecting it, because anything powerful enough to help you is also powerful enough to hurt you if you don't know the rules. Here's what most people don't realize. Ashwagandha doesn't just calm you down in some gentle, herbal way. It actively manipulates your endocrine system, your body's hormone command center, at a surprisingly deep level. Most people think of ashwagandha as a natural chill pill, but this changes everything. Ashwagandha is classified as an adaptogen, which means it changes how your body responds to stress by altering hormone signaling. Specifically, it lowers cortisol, your primary stress hormone. And that sounds great, right? Cortisol is the villain. Cortisol makes you anxious, fat around the middle, sleepless. But here's the surprising part. Cortisol isn't just stress. Cortisol is also your body's internal alarm clock. It peaks in the morning to wake you up. It surges during exercise to mobilize energy. It spikes during injury to trigger inflammation, the internal fire that starts the healing process. Yes, inflammation is fire, but controlled fire is how your body repairs tissue, fights infection, and clears damaged cells. Think of cortisol like a thermostat in a house. When it's working correctly, it keeps every room at the right temperature. Ashwagandha doesn't just turn down the thermostat, it can yank the wires out of the wall. Studies show it can reduce cortisol by 15% to 30%, sometimes more depending on the dose and the person. Now, imagine what happens when you suppress that system for weeks or months. You start feeling weirdly flat, not calm, numb. Your motivation drops. Your morning energy evaporates. Your workouts feel harder because cortisol isn't there to mobilize glucose and get your blood circulation pumping to your muscles. That pump you used to feel? Gone. Because cortisol in the right amounts is what opens your blood vessels and drives nutrient delivery when you need it. The surprising part? Some people report feeling emotionally blunted on ashwagandha, not just less anxious, but less everything. Less joy, less excitement, less drive. That's because cortisol interacts with dopamine and serotonin pathways. When you flatten one, you ripple through the others. Most people get this wrong. They think more is better. They stack ashwagandha with other supplements. They take it morning and night. They megadose because it's natural so it can't hurt. But your hormones are like a symphony. You can't just mute the brass section and expect the music to sound right, but here's where it gets interesting. There's a specific organ that ashwagandha hits hard, and I'm not talking about your brain. Most people have no idea this is happening inside them. Your thyroid. That butterfly-shaped gland in your neck that controls your metabolism, your temperature, your heart rate, your energy. Here's what most people don't realize. Ashwagandha is one of the most potent thyroid stimulators in the herbal world. It increases thyroid hormone production, T3 and T4, by directly influencing the hypothalamic pituitary thyroid axis. In plain English, it tells your brain to tell your thyroid to work harder. For someone with hypothyroidism, sluggish thyroid, low energy, weight gain, cold intolerance, this sounds like a dream. And indeed, some studies show modest benefits. But this changes everything if your thyroid is already normal, or worse, if it's trending toward overactive. Hyperthyroidism is like running your engine at redline. Your heart races, your hands shake, you lose weight uncontrollably, you can't sleep. You feel wired and tired simultaneously, and ashwagandha can push a normal thyroid into that danger zone or push a borderline overactive thyroid into a full-blown crisis. Think of your thyroid like the accelerator pedal in your car. Ashwagandha doesn't just press it, it can jam a brick underneath it. Now, if you're already going uphill and struggling, that brick helps. But if you're cruising on flat ground at 70 miles per hour, that brick sends you into the guardrail. The surprising part? You might not feel this immediately. Thyroid hormone changes can take weeks to manifest. You start taking ashwagandha for sleep. 2 months later, you're jittery, your heart is doing weird things, and you have no idea why. You blame coffee. You blame stress. You never blame the natural supplement that's been accumulating in your system. Real biological mechanism. Thyroid hormones control cellular metabolism everywhere. They affect nerve conduction speed, meaning they change how your pain signals travel. They affect muscle recovery. Too much thyroid hormone and your muscles break down faster than they rebuild. They affect blood circulation. Thyroid excess can cause palpitations and irregular heart rhythms because your heart is being told to beat faster than it should. Common mistake: people with existing thyroid conditions, Hashimoto's, Graves' disease, nodules, taking ashwagandha without medical supervision. Some functional medicine doctors use it intentionally, but they monitor blood work. The average person buying a bottle online? Zero monitoring, zero awareness, just blind faith in a plant extract. Myth versus fact. Myth: ashwagandha balances your thyroid naturally. Fact: it stimulates thyroid hormone production. That's not balance. That's a push in one direction. Balance implies it knows what your body needs. It doesn't. It does what it does, and your body has to deal with the consequences. Now, let's talk about something that affects half the population directly and the other half indirectly through the people they love. Most people get this completely wrong. Men, listen closely. Women, you need to hear this too. Because if you have a partner, a brother, a son taking this stuff, you need to know what's really happening. Ashwagandha is marketed heavily as a testosterone booster. Gym bros take it to build muscle. Older men take it to reclaim their vitality. The marketing shows rugged guys lifting heavy weights, implying this herb will unlock your primal male energy. Here's what most people don't realize. The testosterone boost from ashwagandha is real, but it's modest and it comes with strings attached. Studies show roughly a 10% to 15% increase in testosterone. Significant, but not transformative. For a man with clinically low testosterone, that might help, but for a man with normal levels, you're now pushing your hormones into an artificially elevated state. And your body hates artificial states. It responds by downregulating its own production. Think of it like this: your body is a factory. Ashwagandha is a temporary contract worker who boosts output for a few months. But the factory owner sees the increased production and thinks, we don't need as many full-time employees. So he starts laying off your natural testosterone production machinery. When the contract worker leaves, when you stop the ashwagandha, the factory is understaffed. Your natural production is suppressed. You feel worse than when you started. The surprising part? This can affect fertility. Testosterone production and sperm production are tightly linked. When you mess with one, you ripple through the other. Some men report reduced libido after long-term ashwagandha use, not increased as the marketing promises, because their natural hormonal rhythm has been disrupted. Biological mechanism. Testosterone doesn't just build muscle. It affects red blood cell production, meaning it changes your blood viscosity and circulation. It affects nerve health. Testosterone supports nerve regeneration and pain signal modulation. It affects mood and cognition. When you artificially elevate it, then withdraw, you create a hormonal whiplash that your body has to spend months repairing. Common mistake: cycling ashwagandha without understanding what cycle means. People take it for 3 months, stop for 2 weeks, then restart. That's not a cycle, that's chaos. Your endocrine system needs months, not weeks, to recalibrate. The on-off approach creates more instability than continuous use. Myth versus fact. Myth: ashwagandha is a natural steroid alternative. Fact: it has nowhere near the anabolic effect of actual testosterone, and the hormonal disruption it causes can leave you worse off than baseline if used improperly. But here's the surprising part. There's a side effect that nobody talks about in the marketing, but it shows up in the research quietly. And it affects your gut, your second brain. Your liver is the unsung hero of your body. It processes everything you swallow, breathed, or absorb through your skin. Every supplement, every medication, every toxin, your liver handles it. And ashwagandha puts a surprising load on this already overworked organ. Here's what most people don't realize. Ashwagandha contains compounds called withanolides. These are the active ingredients everyone talks about. But withanolides are processed by your liver's cytochrome P450 enzyme system, the same system that handles about 75% of all drugs you might take. When you flood this system with ashwagandha daily, you're occupying the machinery your liver needs for everything else. Think of your liver like a busy kitchen with limited chefs. Ashwagandha walks in and orders a complex, time-consuming dish. Now the chefs are tied up. If another order comes in, say a medication for blood pressure or pain relief or antibiotics, that order gets delayed, mishandled, or backed up. This is how herb-drug interactions happen. Not because the herb is bad, but because it's competing for limited biological resources. The surprising part, case reports exist of liver injury from ashwagandha. Not common, but real. Elevated liver enzymes, jaundice, yellowing of the skin and eyes, inflammation of the liver tissue, the internal fire, but in the wrong place, burning the wrong organ. Most people recover when they stop, but some have required medical intervention. And your gut? Ashwagandha can cause significant gastrointestinal distress in sensitive people. Nausea, diarrhea, cramping. Remember, your gut microbiome, that trillion-cell ecosystem, interacts with everything you ingest. Some people find ashwagandha disrupts their digestion for weeks, creating a cascade of inflammation that spreads systemically. That gut inflammation? It sends signals up the vagus nerve to your brain, altering mood, anxiety, and even pain perception. Your gut and brain are connected by a superhighway, and ashwagandha can create traffic jams on both ends. Common mistake, taking ashwagandha on an empty stomach to absorb it better. This intensifies GI irritation and can spike nausea. Taking it with food buffers the impact and slows absorption to a more natural rate. Myth versus fact. Myth. Natural herbs don't stress the liver like drugs do. Fact, many of the most potent liver toxins known are natural compounds. Aristolochic acid, kava, comfrey, all natural, all capable of severe liver damage. Natural does not mean liver safe. Now let's get to the one that genuinely scares me as a doctor. Because this affects your mind, not just your mood, but your actual neurological wiring. Your brain is a chemical soup of extraordinary precision. Billions of neurons communicate using neurotransmitters, dopamine for motivation, serotonin for mood stability, GABA for calm, glutamate for excitation. The balance between these chemicals determines whether you feel driven, peaceful, anxious, or depressed. Here's what most people don't realize. Ashwagandha doesn't just reduce stress. It actively modulates GABA receptor activity and affects serotonin signaling. It crosses the blood-brain barrier and directly alters how your neurons fire. At first, this feels great. GABA goes up. You feel calm. The racing thoughts slow down. But this changes everything when you use it long-term. Your brain adapts. It starts producing fewer GABA receptors. It downregulates serotonin transporters. It literally rewires itself to function in the presence of ashwagandha rather than on its own. Think of it like noise-canceling headphones. At first, they create beautiful silence. But if you wore them 24/7 for months, your brain would forget how to process normal sound. When you finally take them off, the world is overwhelming. Every sound is too loud, too sharp, too much. That's neurological dependence, not addiction in the classic sense, but adaptation that makes normal life feel unbearable without the substance. The surprising part? Withdrawal from ashwagandha is real, and it's underreported. People who stop after months of daily use report rebound anxiety worse than their original symptoms. Insomnia that feels impossible to break. Emotional volatility. Brain fog. Some describe it as feeling unplugged from reality for weeks. Biological mechanism. Your brain maintains homeostasis, balance, through feedback loops. When you artificially enhance GABA activity, the brain compensates by reducing natural GABA production and receptor sensitivity. This is basic neurobiology. It's why benzodiazepines, which also enhance GABA, are so notoriously difficult to stop. Ashwagandha is milder, but the same principle applies. Milder doesn't mean harmless when applied consistently over time. Most people get this wrong. They think herbs are non-habit forming because they're not controlled substances. But anything that changes brain chemistry can create dependence. Caffeine is legal and creates withdrawal. Sugar is everywhere and creates cravings. Ashwagandha alters neurotransmission and can create a similar rebound effect. Myth versus fact. Myth. You can't become dependent on ashwagandha because it's natural. Fact, your brain doesn't distinguish between natural and synthetic when it comes to neurochemical adaptation. It responds to the effect, not the source, but here's what really changes everything. There's a group of people who should never touch this herb, and most of them have no idea they're in that group. Insight: autoimmune conditions, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, multiple sclerosis, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, Crohn's disease, psoriasis. If you have any of these, or even a family history that suggests you might develop one, this section is critical. Here's what most people don't realize. Ashwagandha is an immunomodulator. It stimulates certain immune cells, particularly natural killer cells and macrophages. In a healthy person, this might enhance immune surveillance, your body's ability to spot and eliminate threats. But in autoimmune disease, your immune system isn't weak. It's confused. It's attacking your own tissues. Giving an already overactive immune system more stimulation is like throwing gasoline on that internal fire we talked about. The inflammation, already burning in your joints, your gut, your nerves, your skin, gets hotter. Your symptoms flare. Your disease progresses faster, and you might never connect it to the stress relief supplement you started taking. Think of autoimmune disease like a security system that's malfunctioning. It's not failing to detect intruders, it's attacking the residents of the house. Ashwagandha turns up the sensitivity on that security system. Now it's not just attacking residents, it's calling in backup and barricading the doors. The surprising part? Some autoimmune conditions are silent for years before diagnosis. You might feel tired or achy and think ashwagandha will help. You start taking it, your immune system, already quietly misdirected, gets pushed over the edge. Symptoms that were subclinical become clinical. You get diagnosed 6 months later and never know the supplement accelerated the timeline. Biological mechanism: ashwagandha increases Th1 cytokine activity, specifically interferon gamma and interleukin 2. These are the signaling molecules that activate cellular immunity. In fighting infections, this is brilliant. In autoimmune disease, this is catastrophic. It directly increases the inflammatory cascade that damages nerve sheaths in MS, joint linings in rheumatoid arthritis, and thyroid tissue in Hashimoto's. Common mistake: people with autoimmune conditions taking ashwagandha because it reduces stress, and stress triggers flares. Yes, stress triggers flares. But this particular stress reducer triggers the immune system in exactly the wrong direction. It's like treating a burn with heat because warmth feels good. Myth versus fact. Myth: ashwagandha is safe for everyone because it's been used in Ayurveda for thousands of years. Fact: traditional Ayurvedic practitioners screened patients carefully, used it in specific formulations, and rarely recommended long-term daily use for everyone. Modern mass marketing has stripped away that context and caution, so where does this leave us? Is ashwagandha evil? No. It's a powerful tool that we've turned into a casual daily supplement, like using a sledgehammer to hang a picture frame. Here's what most people don't realize. The dark side of ashwagandha isn't the herb itself. It's the way we use it, unsupervised, daily, long-term, at doses determined by marketing, not medicine. Without understanding our own hormonal baselines, thyroid status, liver health, neurological wiring, or immune profile. If you're already taking it and feeling great, truly great, not just numb, then you might be someone who tolerates it well. But even then, I would challenge you to take a break. See what your baseline feels like without it. Reconnect with your body's natural rhythms. Because anything you can't stop without feeling worse is something you need to examine honestly. The biological mechanisms we've covered today, hormonal manipulation, thyroid stimulation, testosterone disruption, liver burden, neurotransmitter adaptation, and immune modulation, aren't rare side effects. They're the primary effects of the herb, operating in ways that don't align with every body every day, indefinitely. Your body is not a machine that needs constant tuning from external substances. It's an ecosystem that thrives on rhythm, rest, real food, movement, sunlight, and human connection. Supplements can bridge gaps, but they should never replace the foundation. If this video made you pause and think, if you realized you might be taking something without understanding it fully, then I've done my job. Hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it before they swallow another capsule blindly. Subscribe to the channel because I'm committed to giving you the full story. Not just the sales pitch. Question everything. Research deeply. Respect your biology enough to know that natural and safe are not the same word. Your health is too precious to outsource to a bottle with good marketing. I'm Dr. Leonid Kim. Take care of your health.